Welcome to the Awaken Heart Podcast. I'm your host, Nancy Walters. Get ready to create magic and miracles as you lean into your heart's desires. I believe not only does the heart want what it wants, but it knows. This show is a weekly deep dive into what it means to live from an awakened heart. I'll be sharing inspiring stories and real conversations with people just like you, who have turned the ordinary into the extraordinary. My mission is to show you how you too can be connected and heart-centered in every area of your life. Your journey to aligning with more love, more joy, and your wildest dreams come true starts now. Hello, and welcome back to the Awaken Heart Podcast, and welcome to a brand new year. We're a few weeks into January now, and I don't know about you, but I've been thinking a lot about health, not just in the physical sense, but in the deeper, empowered way. Over the last few years, so many of us have awakened to how disconnected we've become from our bodies, from truth, and from the systems that are supposed to support our well-being. So I'm excited to bring you today's episode with Coach Kev Ramon, a holistic health coach and fruitarian who spent over 30 years walking the path of radical self-healing, intuitive living, and truth-telling. In this conversation, Kev shares his personal journey from obesity, addiction, and depression to intuitive wellness, clarity, and freedom. We talk about the power of food, censorship in the wellness space, the unraveling of mainstream narratives, and the role of spiritual awakening in reclaiming our sovereignty. His story is honest, bold, and full of light. Let's dive in. Hey, Coach Kev, welcome to the Awaken Heart Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Nancy. How are you doing today?
I am combusting. And as we were talking before we hit record, we're both in the Midwest, Ohio, Michigan, and we were commenting on how we skipped the spring. We had like the eternal winter, skipped spring, and now we're in Florida summer weather. And we're both melting because I don't have my AC on. I don't believe you have your AC on because we like fresh air. And here we are. So I am really thrilled to have you on this podcast. I know this is going to be a really phenomenal conversation. A lot of things we're going to dive into. Of course, you're a fruitarian, holistic health coach with over 30 years of holistic healing experience. And you've been living intuitively for decades, guided by truth and inner knowing. I am so excited to talk about exposing a lot of these government agendas and hidden narratives. I've been very passionate about it. Back in the day, I was like, warning the world when the lockdown happened. When I first had my awakening, I was living in Portland, the belly of the beast during the pandemic. I'm like, wake up, this is what's happening. So I rabbit holed on my own for like 2 years. And I literally went down that rabbit hole. I think I just finally pulled myself out and then I'd go back down again. Now I'm able to observe things more at a 30,000 foot perspective and see the higher, not reasonings, but the higher perspective of everything that's going on and not be so attached to everything that's going on. And that's like so good for your health because you can really rabbit hole and it's like, oh my God, the world's not what I thought it was. And it can be really, definitely disillusionment. And then there's fear and then there's anger and then there's apathy and you keep going around that spiral until you can pull yourself out of it. You're the author of several books and you've been banned on some of these social media accounts, as I have. I haven't been banned, but I know I've had content taken down for medical misinformation, even if it has to do with holistic health or homeopathy or anything that's alternative than what the mainstream CDC, the WHO, all those guidelines, the FDA, if it's anything against what they're telling the masses, it's like a no-go. So I give you credit and courage for speaking out and being willing to lose a platform for something that you believe in and that, was your own experience. Because a lot of people won't talk about things because they're afraid of losing their following. They're afraid of losing their accounts and stuff. And I really admire people like yourself that have spoken up from the beginning and have stood in their truth and what being able to lose what they think is important to them, because the people that your message resonates with, the truth seekers, are going to gravitate towards someone like yourself. So thank you for being strong and sovereign and going down that pathway and helping to expose these things. I would love to have a deeper dive into the rabbit hole, which you say you love discussing. But first of all, I'd love for my audience who doesn't know that don't I'm going to say that don't know you. That's bad grammar.
I do that too. That's funny.
Yeah. I'm a podcaster and I'm a host, but I can't say that I'm perfect. That's for sure. So, I'd love to start by asking what your background is and how I know you overcame addiction and where you were before you started the shift into more intuitively based conscious living.
Well, you gotta go back pretty far. So basically, I grew up in a pretty hostile environment. I grew up without a father. My father died when I was about 8 years old. And, my mom was a provider. She had to take care of three kids by herself, which is tough. She didn't have any help. So um that come with a lot of stress, a lot of frustration, you know. She had a lot of things, a lot of traumas that she has never healed from, even from this to this day. And so that spilled out onto us. And so, I grew up in a very unloving household. And that eventually led me to street life. I looked for an escape in the military. That didn't work out. Street life came after that. After that, incarceration and more incarceration and more incarceration. And so my awakening began when I was about 24. And interestingly to me, it came through the Bible. It came through a Bible study. And there's a lot I could say about the Bible. But one thing about the Bible that helped transform me is it talks about a lot of practical subjects that applied to me that were ruining my life. Like I had a real bad anger problem, quick temper. No one had ever talked to me about that before. And in the streets, you need that. But the Bible was the first time I had ever heard anything speaking about how dangerous it is to be easily and quickly angered. And so just practical truths like that, it became like a parent to me. It talked to me about being patient. It taught me what love is and different things all things that I had never heard before. So it started transforming my mind, the way I think, the way I saw reality. I started realizing that I'm in a situation I'm in because of me. It's not because of my mom. It's not because of the government, the military. It's me. It's my thinking. And so over the years, I started healing. I was an alcoholic back then. I used to smoke 2 packs cigarettes back then. All these things, all these toxic habits just kind of started falling away on their own the more I changed my mentality. And that was the beginning of my awakening. And I was on that path I'm still on that path. I'm still on a healing journey. I'm still healing, I'm still growing, I'm still evolving. It doesn't end as long as you're in this body,
Mhm.
you know, unless you just walk around such a beacon of light that people literally need to put on sunglasses when you are in their presence or need to look away because your light is so bright, you know. So that healing, being on my healing journey eventually led me to fruitarianism. That's part of my healing journey. I had never realized what I was putting into my body and how it was affecting me. I never realized how what I was eating was affecting the way I think. It was affecting the way I perceived reality. It was affecting my mood, my emotions, like the way I was feeling, everything, not just my physical health, but my mental and emotional health too. And then like that just compounds and that spills over into every area of your life. Because if your mood is affected in a negative way by what you're eating, then when you go to work, it's going to spill over to, fellow workers, your boss. You show up to work with a bad attitude, negative attitude, and you trace it all the way back. It could possibly be traced all the way back to what you're eating, because people are not eating food. They're eating chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
These are chemicals created by scientists and laboratories. They're like mad scientists, and there's people, CEOs or whatever, these major corporations are saying, make it addictive, you know,
Mm-hmm.
make it, make them feel better when they eat it,
They're getting
make
sicker.
it, create a chemical to, trigger the release of dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
So when they eat it, they love it and keep coming back.
Our obesity out here, what, 70% in this country right
It's
now?
an epidemic. It's crazy. And it goes back to these scientists and these corporations. Make it addictive. Most people, aren't eating thinking about nutrition. They're eating because they want to feel better. They're stressed out, they had a rough day, they're dealing with insecurities, they're depressed, whatever it is, they just want to feel better. And they're making things that we can eat that will make you feel better. It
Mm-hmm.
will make you feel really good, because I used to eat for those same reasons. That was my go-to. After I stopped smoking weed, I stopped drinking alcohol, I stopped smoking cigarettes and Black and Miles and all these different things. Eating was the new drug. Eating and drinking. And so if I had a rough day, you know, I call up DoorDash. Not call them up, but text, just put in my order for DoorDash. I'll, go to my favorite restaurant, you know, I'll go to the pizza spot, like whatever. I'm eating to feel better. I wasn't thinking about nutrition. I wasn't even looking at what I was eating. I was
Mm-hmm.
just eating it. I didn't care what was in it. You got to pay attention to these things,
Mm-hmm.
because when I started reading labels,
Oh, yeah.
you talk about a rabbit hole.
Elemental
Um,
PQRS.
It's it's evil.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
evil.
Banned in
What
Europe, a
they
lot of stuff.
say again?
A lot of stuff is banned in Europe, like I forgot what it was, what they put in our pizzas, and over there in Europe, it's pure
Oh yeah,
ingredients. Forgot what
yeah.
the
There's a lot of things that we have here that they banned in Europe.
Mhm.
But even in Europe,
Yep,
it's just a lesser degree of the same thing.
yep. Money, money,
Because
money, money.
yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Mhm,
Because food grows in nature.
mhm.
You can't create food in a laboratory, or it's not manufactured in a factory. It grows in nature, just like every other species food comes from nature. And so when you start letting people make what you eat, it's a business. They're in business to make money. And so all businesses basically function the same. How can we make it as cheap as possible
Mhm.
and charge as much as possible? And so the chemicals come into play, because that allows them to make it cheaper than using natural ingredients. They could use, say, like strawberry flavored whatever. They could use actual strawberries
Mhm.
and extract the juice from the strawberries and use that, but that costs too much. So they'll, have a scientist, mix a bunch of chemicals together until they come up with a chemical that mimics the taste of strawberry. That's why they call it strawberry flavor,
You're
because
right.
it's not strawberry.
Anything with added flavors. It's like, what
Yeah,
is it?
yeah. And so then these things create disease. It's like like with the artificial food colorings, red dye 40, for example, is linked to ADHD. You have
Mhm.
like the number of there was a time when ADHD didn't even exist.
Mhm.
A lot of the diseases that exist today, there was a time when they didn't
Right.
exist.
Look at all the kids with their allergies and their sensitivities, and it's not just the foods. Look at their vaccine schedule. Am I gonna get censored for saying that? Whatever. V schedule.
Yeah, no, it's the truth though.
Yep.
You know, I got hit the vaccines probably over 20 years ago.
Good for
And I
you.
just started questioning, like, I feel like if we needed it, it would already be in us.
Right,
We
God.
would have been born with it in us already.
Well, we get an upgrade as soon as we sample the virus or we have the flu or whatever. Our system gets an upgrade where it recognizes that and we get stronger because of it. Our bodies are innately like divine gifts from God. Like God would have gifted us with he has, and we're not believing in our own ability to heal ourselves, and we've got this divine body that can heal itself instead of being offered all these chemicals and
But yeah, but God don't want your money though.
exactly. It's
And
free.
these people do, these drug companies do.
Right.
So they just kind of change the narrative and they brainwash us to believe that our bodies are not divine gifts.
Mhm.
And they don't do what you said they do. But you need this vaccine. We are your savior.
Mhm.
Our vaccine is your savior.
And we
This is
saw
what
that.
you need. And people believe it. And so people, take these vaccines, allow these nurses or whoever to inject these chemicals into their bloodstream. Nobody asks what's in it.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Can I
and
get
you would just sorry to interrupt. If you gave your baby, like, if you like, what is in a vaccine? Formaldehyde, aluminum, kidney like, monkey kidneys and all that. If you individually injected your beautiful baby with that, you would be put in jail and your child would be taken away. But yet, it's okay to be wrapped up in these medical interventions and injectables, and now we're introducing mRNA into everything, which is a whole ball of wax in itself. And even the COVID vaccine, which has been proven. A lot of us knew how bad it was all along. A lot of it's come true. I mean, it's being exposed. It has been true, but it's being exposed for what it is. And they're still pushing it. Anytime you're on hold for like CVS or one of those pharmacies, they're like, oh, go get your flu shot and COVID vaccine. I'm like, okay, I'm going to roll my sleeve up right away.
mhm. And it's free.
Mhm.
Why is it
Yeah, it's free.
free?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and you can get french fries. You can get french fries and a cheeseburger. Oh, get yours and
Free
you're
gift
good.
card.
Donuts.
Yeah.
That was
Free groceries.
creepy. When they were offering that, I was like, "This is creepy." They're pushing it so far, and we're like, "Watch, they're gonna start forcing it on people," and they sure did. So, here we
Did you
are.
see the video of Bill Gates where
Which
he
one?
was talking about
Oh,
depopulation
yeah. Mhm.
in healthcare?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, depopulation, right out and said it. Yep. And he's
Openly, publicly said it on TEDx. I
yep.
believe that was TEDx.
Yep, and they'd show it. Oh, and then you'd get the little disclaimer at the bottom if you're on Instagram. Our fact checkers said this is false information. Like no, it's been such an upside down world. I mean, you've been in this for a while, for 20 years, and then you seeing how was it when this started being when this happened, like 2020, and they started like you knew, like I knew way before they started rolling out that this is what's going to come next. But you are really into the health and wellness and knew the truth about vaccines and all that. What was your take as soon as this virus was introduced into the masses and there was lockdowns and all that? And were you able to be from a higher perspective and know what they're doing? Were you trying to warn people about it, or how was your state of mind during all this?
I
Sovereign.
wasn't really I wasn't really trying to warn people. I was just doing me.
Yep.
So, um,
People are going to either want to hear about it or they're not.
yeah, and there was so much fear surrounding the COVID whatever you want to call it,
Narrative.
pandemic or whatever,
Yeah,
like there
plandemic.
was so much fear surrounding that. Like
And that
the
was on
inner
purpose.
fear was just so strong. And so I got a lot of flack because I never wore a mask.
Me
I
too.
got kicked off a plane
Oh,
for
geez.
not wearing a mask, and they had the police and all these people like waiting
Mm,
for me, as they escort, like they were taking
ridiculous.
that they were taxiing down the runway
Wow.
and did a U-turn
Unbelievable.
to let me off the plane because I wouldn't wear a mask. And the interesting thing to me about that is I paid a little bit attention to it, but not too much. But I do know that in the beginning of this whole thing, them explicitly saying the only mask that would protect you is the 95, and you could not
Suffocating.
get that mask.
Mm.
That is for medical professionals only. It has to be professionally fitted. That's what they said in the beginning. And so I never forgot that. And so now you walk around and people are wearing bandanas, looking like gangbangers, wearing ski masks, wearing tablecloths, just wearing, you know, ripped up t-shirts, like whatever. And they already said this is not going to protect you. So what's the point? And they're enforcing people
Mhm.
wear things that don't even protect them.
Right. Well, even the ones that did wear them, there's gaps, and then the virus is like it's like a mosquito going through a chain link fence. Nobody wore them correctly, and even Fauci said in the beginning until he, wanted the until he didn't. Like he even said, "Oh, and mask's not going to do anything." They're like, he's like, "Oh yes, you must wear a mask and 6 feet apart," and we all know that was made up. Now
It was so
it
ridiculous,
was
but
ridiculous.
nearly everyone fell for it.
Luckily, I had a tribe that did not. Most of my friends didn't, but most people did. What is it? 75% of the world or more than that. And they've seen what they can get away with. So what's coming down the pipeline is going to be even worse because this was an experiment. Oh, how much can we get away with? How much can we push this? There's much other things coming down the pipeline, and that's why people need to be really aware of what's happening now. And I think a lot more are because when they do come down the pipeline with this stuff again, a lot of people are like, I've done this before. Stop.
Yeah, yeah. See, I feel like it was a test too. Let's see how they respond to this.
And we
We're gonna
saw.
tell them that these masks don't work, and then we're gonna tell them they have to wear them, and let's just see what they do. And there's people still wearing masks today. I've
Yes, I see
seen
them.
people wearing 2 masks,
Yes.
and everybody that I knew that wore masks got COVID.
Yep, in the car alone. Well, because even during the Spanish flu, that was what was proven that got a lot of people sick because they got, what is it, bacterial pneumonia or something from the mask. And some people didn't change it. So you're breathing in this cold, your H2O or whatever is coming out, and all these poor kids, and they're wet and they're damp, and you can't breathe. Like I didn't wear them. And I lived in Oregon. I lived in nature. I'd be on a nature trail by myself. If you've ever been to Oregon, those beautiful woods by yourself, and someone would run by, "Where's your mask?" I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? I'm
That's
not wearing
funny.
one. I got attacked left and right. I'm like, I'm
In
sorry. I
nature,
can't breathe.
wear your mask.
You're going to kill your grandma. You're like, "Oh, you're selfish." Like they'd attack. I'm like, I'm sorry for this.
There's another falsehood that made the whole COVID thing successful, and that's the belief that disease is transmitted or can be
Right.
transmitted
I've
from
heard about
person to
that.
person,
Hmm.
right? And that's not true. We're all like germs are entering our bodies
Yes.
like all day, every day,
Yes. We're made up of them.
right? So germ cells need to eat to thrive,
Hmm.
just like any other cell, right? So the thing is, if you don't create an environment on the inside for germs to thrive, then they'll just enter and just die.
Hmm.
But if you create an environment for them to thrive, and this is all done through diet, if your diet consists of toxins, then when germs enter your body, it's going to be like a all you could eat buffet for them.
That's funny.
They're going to eat, they're going to thrive, they're going to grow, they're going to manifest into
Yeah.
whatever disease.
America was hit hardest, one of the hit hardest of everybody. The Americans,
Hmm.
because look at our diet.
It's horrible.
And if you think about it, you could line 6 people up in a room and exposed to the same virus, and one will get sick, really sick. One might get like moderately sick, and others it doesn't affect them at all. So if this virus coming off of someone is so deadly, everyone should drop dead, right? It's taking care of your own vessel, your own vehicle, learning about health. And they weren't empowering us during the pandemic. Vitamin D, let's take some ivermectin, let's, a Nobel winning prize drug that got demonized, that was proven effective to work. Let's not censor these other voices that have alternative ways to heal. Why don't we take our what is it called? I don't know. I made my own with orange, grapefruit rind and lemon rind, and I steamed it. I had that every day because you couldn't get the things that were actually helping. There's glutathione, take your vitamin D, get exposure to the sun. None of that was given it because they wanted us sick because it was a moneymaker, as a lot of us reported before, and it's all being revealed. If anything's going to happen to these people that really propagated, and I think the media is very responsible for all that because I feel they're a mouthpiece for the higher interests, and they just propagated this false fear left and right. The COVID ticker, 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 ticker. So I'm sorry.
Oh,
What were you
yeah.
going to say?
Yeah. I mean, well, the media is owned by the higher interests.
Absolutely. 90%
So,
of their budgets a lot of time is big pharma.
yeah.
So they have
So
to.
they tell the media what to say,
Yep.
like, and what they could talk about and what they can't.
And the
Just like they
CIA.
do basically with us on social media. If you talk about the fact, they take it down. You can't talk about that
Yep.
unless you're encouraging people to take it.
Exactly.
Then we'll leave that up. If you're talking about the benefits, we'll leave that up. But if you're criticizing our vaccines in any way, that's not allowed. We're taking it down. Doesn't matter if you have proof, evidence. We don't care because that goes against the whole agenda.
And the more they censor someone, the more I'm more apt to listen to them. Like, why are they going after this person so hard? Like Peter McCullough, he was a award-winning heart surgeon for many, many years, and he's been warning about this stuff from the beginning. And so I followed a lot of these great people. I used to listen to, Bruce Lipton's another one about epigenetics, and then there was Greg Braden. So I listened to them in the very beginning, and I was one before I rabbit holed and found out all this stuff that was going on in the world. I was about, okay, I'm not going to feed into the collective consciousness of fear. I know my body can heal. I know I'm safe. I know I'm protected. I know I'm loved. So that's what I used in the beginning before I opened my eyes to more of the goings-ons of the world. And I never get sick. I could be exposed to something. I might just get a little tired or I might get a little sniffly, but I never really come down with something where I'm like laid up in bed for a couple days. So
Yeah,
it was wild times.
when I did this as an experiment during COVID, just to kind of test what I teach, my brother needed me to come over to for some repairs in his house, right? So he messaged me, asked me to come over, da da da. And then he texted me back and said, today, this may not be a good time because me and Rachel, his wife, like, we both have COVID. So maybe you should wait until, we're better. And I was like, no, this is a perfect time. I'll be there. Because I wanted to put myself right in the presence of someone with COVID. And I wanted to see what would happen. Because I'm saying this contagion theory is all lies. This is what I say. This is what I teach. But I've never really knowingly been in a position to prove it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went over there and I just imagine the whole house is full of COVID germs, and I'm talking about, again, I've never worn a mask or anything. I'm talking to my brother face to face, less than a foot apart. And I'm consciously inhaling so I can just inhale whatever is coming out of him. Like whatever germs are coming, I want to inhale it. Like I'm putting this to the test. And nothing happened. I was
Mhm.
over his house probably like 30 minutes. We were talking face to face, a majority of the time, and nothing happened. I never got sick, never got cold, like nothing. And again, but most people don't believe it. It's just like I can't pass health to you. Like if you're
Right.
sick and I'm healthy and I
Right.
stand next to you and talk and breathe in your face, you're not gonna get healthy. So why would it work in the reverse way? You have to create an environment for disease to thrive in. That's the only way
Yes.
disease can thrive in your body. And it's just the fact is that's just what a lot of people have done. They've created that environment for disease to thrive in, and then they try to prevent germs from entering their body. Germs are everywhere.
We're made up of them.
They're everywhere. You can't
Mhm.
avoid that.
Mm-mm. No.
You'd have to live in live in a like stay in a house and just be in a bubble.
Mhm.
You know, so unless people change their belief system, it's just gonna get worse and worse.
Yeah. Well, the thing is also with the whole thing and that's the most I've ever seen it pushed against the masses, like, where everyone was like this thing. The first time in my lifetime I've ever experienced something like that is it was putting responsibility outside of yourself for your own health. It's because of this person I'm sick, or, it's you. It's like turning us against each other. And that was another reason this was rolled out, is the division and seeing how fast people would turn on each other. But we've seen in our society how your own personal responsibility isn't your own, and the cause of your upset, whether you don't have enough money, whether you're sick, whether you're not successful, it's somebody else's fault. And it's empowering to know that we can do the things where we can have optimal health. It's choices that we make in everything in life. And that's a big part of it, and I'm thankful. I don't know how much can get done this year, that the people that are in, I mean, the government interest, I don't know as much, but I'm really happy that we have someone that's the health secretary right now that is making some changes. I don't know how much changes that he's able to make with all the interests, that might threaten them or blackmail them and everything, but there's already some things that are happening and being looked at. So I'm very thankful for that. So I'm hoping in the next 4 years, a lot of things get cleaned up and then the torch gets passed on to someone else. But there's so much money involved, and there's so many
That's
powerful people out there. That's the problem.
You know what, that's a scam. They're just giving
A little bit.
people a little bit of hope
Mhm.
to kind of pacify them, make them feel like, wow, things are really happening now. We're really moving forward now.
We
But
have to make our own changes.
again, the higher interest, the people in power, like you just said, there's so much money involved in us being sick.
Mhm.
He's only gonna be able to go
Exactly.
but so far.
Mhm.
And if he go too far, if he cross the line, they'll kill him
Yep.
like they do anybody.
Mhm.
They're not the drug. If we're healthy, the drug
Makes no
industry
money.
is out of business. That's $1 trillion
Yeah.
industry. They're not letting that happen. You know, Animal agriculture is almost $1 trillion business. They're gone if we're healthy because we'll stop eating animals. That's the only way we'll get healthy is if we stop eating animals. For one, I mean, that's not the only thing, but heart disease is the number one cause of death globally, or heart failure. I like to say heart failure. The number one cause of heart failure is eating animals. It's
Mm.
the fats in the animals. Is the number in animal products. That's the number one cause of heart failure. Number two is sugar. These man-made sugars. Now there's so much money
Mhm.
in these diseases. Cancer, diabetes. Diabetes is another animal fat disease. It's almost 1 billion people got diabetes. Like, we're not just in an obesity epidemic. We're in a diabetes epidemic. We're in a heart
Mhm.
disease epidemic and a cancer epidemic. Heart disease or heart failure has been the number one cause of death for over 100 years. Eating animals. All right, so in all of what he's proposing to change, he hasn't said anything about eating animals.
Mhm.
If you stop that, this world will riot. Like, that's some so, but as long as that continues, heart disease is going to be the number one cause of death.
Mhm.
And diabetes, cancer, heart attacks, strokes, all the health issues that result from humans who are frugivores. I can't even say trying to eat like carnivores or omnivores, because carnivores just eat other animals. They don't eat anything else. There's no human eating like that. You have all these people talking about they're on a carnivore diet, da 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 da. You eat ice cream. Lions don't eat ice cream. They don't eat cookies. They don't eat pizza or cake.
Mhm.
They don't drink alcohol or apple juice. Right? And same with omnivores. Omnivores eat animals, but they eat other things from nature. They could eat plants. My son has a dog. Dogs are omnivores. She loves fruit.
Mhm.
So, I feed her like an all raw diet. So she'll eat, raw chicken, like the whole chicken, and she'll eat raw fruit. She don't like plants. She don't like vegetables, anything else. But I'm saying, like, omnivores don't eat pizza or fried chicken or drink Starbucks. They don't have mocha frappuccinos, all these.
No.
So I don't know, like, what, category humans, like most humans would fall under, because although we're frugivores, they're not eating like frugivores. And the ones that claim to be carnivores or omnivores, they're not eating like carnivores or omnivores either. So, but this is why we get sick. And JFK, I seen where he talked about banning, I think it was titanium dioxide, red dye 3, I believe. There's a couple things, but this
The
isn't
tip of
even
the
the tip of the
iceberg.
iceberg.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I
There's
know he's
too much
limited.
money.
There's too much
Go
money.
ahead.
I know it's limited. I mean, they could go in there with these holy ideas, and then somebody takes them in a back room and threatens them and their family and shows them how, he's no I mean, his family, look at his father and his uncle got shot. So I think that
He got
happens.
real life examples. Like, hey,
Exactly.
you remember what happened to?
Exactly.
You
Yep.
better straighten up.
God, I hope nothing like that happens again, my
I seen
God,
a
to
picture
anybody.
of him, Trump, Musk, and this other guy, maybe like the vice president. They were all on a plane eating McDonald's.
Yes, I saw that. Well, Trump loves McDonald's, and Kennedy's face is kinda like, "Uh-oh, I'm caught." Like, I mean, you can't eat
How is
healthy
he
all the
changing
time.
anything? McDonald's is the worst. Some of the
I have
worst stuff on
McDonald's
the
maybe twice a year. Sometimes I want a Big Mac. I know I'm eating fake food. I know it's not good for me, and then the next day then I clean up the next day, but I don't eat clean all the time, for sure. So I think
Yeah,
that's what it was. But yeah, he got caught on that plane. Yeah, Trump loves his McDonald's for
yeah.
sure.
He wasn't being forced to eat. He had a
No.
smile on his face.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh, in
it's
his
fake
sandwich.
food. It's good, right?
How is he gonna turn anything around?
Well, look at the other health secretary. Like, what was that? What was that
Oh,
person?
man,
And then
no.
and then they showed pictures of all the health secretaries all over the world, and they were all like the worst model of health. Like, I'm supposed to listen to you?
Did they even get the job? Like,
Exactly.
their appearance is their resume.
Exactly. And they're like,
How did they even get an interview? Like, what did they do to? I don't understand it. I seen some of these pictures, and I was in shock.
"Yep.
Like, there's no way I would ever listen to you
Mm-mm."
about health or nutrition, because you clearly don't know what you're talking about.
Exactly. And at least we have somebody in, though not perfect, he is fit. I don't know how old he's almost 70. But again, it's our public figure, government. Nobody's coming here to save us. We have to be our own advocates. Um, More people are doing more community-based living where they're growing their own food. But the problem is also is it's coming from the skies as well. And they're going after small farmers where they're making it really hard for them to farm. And they came after the Amish. And that's why a lot of them voted for Trump in the last election because he wasn't trying to crush the small farmers. They started coming after them. And it's like I live somewhere where I can have a lot of farmers, go to the farmers market, buy from, but it's just so expensive because they're like they want them to use those chemicals and they're going out and invading their property. And I think there was someone that they invaded because they were making all this raw milk or something and they went and carted a lot of it away. And there was another one that sold he's 80-year-old man that sold a lot of his fruits and vegetables in a stand on the end of his property and they seized all his things. So our soil's being depleted and it's coming from the skies and chemtrails and all that, which my friend used to talk about. Oh, there's chemtrails. I'm like, I don't want to know one more thing, just la la la. And now I can't help but see it and know about it. But it's everywhere. And I know a lot of our foods are being injected with mRNA. I've had a lot of stomach problems lately. I never have stomach problems. I'm like, I wonder if some of that food that I had this mRNA or some of these synthetics that they're forcing on animals and they're putting into lettuce and all that stuff. So how do we stay an advocate for ourselves with us? Because we don't know what's coming in the grocery store a lot of times. How do we do this? We don't know. I mean, we can see maybe where the food came from. Maybe don't buy something from China. I stopped buying from Aldi because they're like, oh, here's garlic and it's dipped in bleach. This is sold at Aldi's. Look at the bottom of your garlic bulb. If it's white, it's bleached. And I saw it. I'm like, oh my God, threw it out. So how can we buy our foods that's clean? Because it's very expensive. Like I go to the farmer's market, it's expensive. But then you're actually eating whole foods. So if you're spending a little more money for whole foods or ethically raised animals or ethically raised crops or whatnot, you're actually getting the nutrition you need. Anything we buy out there that might be cheaper, we're not getting any nutrition.
Well, there's so many different ways to look at that. One, you have to go back to nature though. And human beings are frugivores. You have to start there. When you understand that we are frugivores, we're not carnivores, we're not omnivores or herbivores, we're frugivores.
Is
Now
that
you look,
vegetables
okay,
too? Is that vegetables too or
frugivores,
just fruit?
you know what? Let's make it even simpler. Let's make it even simpler, right? Let's just get rid of that label and say just follow this golden rule that whatever you eat it in its raw natural state.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just eat what you enjoy eating in its raw natural state. That makes it super simple. Now, what do you enjoy eating in its raw natural state? That's the way every other species has ever eaten,
Mhm.
time past to time present. So, what do you enjoy eating in its raw natural state? Like me, I had a mango for breakfast this morning. It's raw, natural, no ingredients. It's a mango. Like
It's a
you can't,
mango.
you're not gonna flip it over and see a paragraph of ingredients. It's just a mango. It grew off of a tree.
Mhm.
It's delicious. It's
Mhm.
so good. But if we go back to that, then if you enjoy eating vegetables in their raw natural state, then eat that. If you enjoy eating animals, if you enjoy eating the flesh off of animals, off of their bones, you enjoy in its raw natural state, then do that. Humans don't enjoy eating animals. Humans don't like the way animals taste. That's why they cook it. That's why they season it. Put sauce on it, put cheese on it, put it on a bun. Like you have to do so much to change the way it tastes because humans don't like the way it tastes. If humans like the way animals tasted, they would eat it like other animals.
Mhm.
real carnivores and omnivores that like the way animals taste. It's raw. They eat it raw, bloody, no seasoning, no nothing. Right? So, and then the animals that people eat, they're vaccinated. They have heavy vaccination schedules.
Yeah.
And people talk about like the pesticides on fruit. The pesticides in animals, like the glyphosate, can be up to 100 times higher than what's on produce. You can look all this stuff up. I got this all off of Google. Up to 100 times higher than what's on the produce, the fruits and the vegetables. And then the fungicides, the drugs, the antibiotics, all of this is in the flesh of the animals that people eat. It's not just, they're not even just eating the flesh. They're eating the pesticides. They're eating the fungicides. They're eating the herbicides. They're eating the glyphosate, the vaccines, the drugs, the antibiotics. They're eating all of this, right? So if you just eat what you enjoy eating in its raw, natural state, like what would that be? Your diet you would automatically align with a frugivore diet if you did that. But what people are eating and think is food, if you look at the ingredients, you might buy something that say, the front of the package say Lucky Charms,
Oh gosh.
right? But there's no such thing of a Lucky Charm.
Not so lucky.
And if you spin the box around, then the ingredients label that tells you what you're really eating, and it's a paragraph of chemicals.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how we're supposed to eat. No species is supposed to eat like that. There's reasons why humans are the sickest species on the planet and has been the sickest species on the planet for thousands of years. Why we have all the hospitals that we have. Why we have the mental illnesses that we have. It's all diet related. All disease is diet related. What you eat, what you drink, vaccines,
Mm-hmm.
like whatever you allow in your body. The only thing that should be in your body is food. If it's not food, it shouldn't be in your body. All these sciences, these man-made chemicals, they have no place in your body. And it's just like taking a vaccine. You don't know how these chemicals are going to affect you. You don't know how they're going to affect your mind, your emotions. You don't know. They don't even know. They test these things out on mice and rats and things like that. But there's so many variables. Like I remember a story of that I read like years ago of a girl that took Tylenol for a headache and ended up blind,
Just
right?
one. Just one Tylenol?
An over the counter drug, Tylenol. She
Just
took
once,
whatever
or
the recommended dosage is. I don't know what the
wow? Does
recommended
she?
dosage is, but whatever the recommended dosage is for a headache, like she wasn't abusing them, but she had an allergy to
Mm,
something in the Tylenol. And this is
gosh.
only one case, right? This isn't a common thing. But that one like, what if that one person was you?
Mm-hmm.
What if that one person was me? You know, they may on their side, oh, it's just one person. It was a fluke. But they're blind for the rest of their life, because it has no place in your body. No one knows what can go wrong. Like it's a gamble. There's all kinds of like weird things happening to people that the scientists didn't account for, didn't foresee through all of their research. You can't predict what will happen when you put, they're even all of their research, like, they do studies, maybe I don't know, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. There's over 8 billion people in the world. You can't predict what's going to happen to everyone based on research done on only 1,000 people or 10,000 people, even 100,000 people, even 1,000,000 people. That's just a fraction of 8 billion. So if it's not food, it doesn't belong in your body. And we are frugivores. So again, but just going back to that rule, just eat what you enjoy. This is why I eat fruit,
Mhm.
because I know what it is.
Yes.
An apple is an apple.
Yes.
An
What would
orange is an orange.
what would your
There's no
typical
surprise.
day of eating look like?
It's never typical. Just like, it's never the same, just like it was never the same before I
Mhm.
started eating the way I eat. But like I said, I had a mango for breakfast today. The fruits that I have right now, or the foods that I have mango, I have avocado, I have
Mm.
honeydew, I have oranges, I have apples. I believe that's everything that I have right now.
Wow.
So, I usually eat at least one avocado a day.
'Cause that's your fat and your protein, right?
Uh, I don't eat it for those reasons. I just love avocado.
Oh, yes.
I just love avocado. Like, they're so satisfying.
Do you use salt and pepper on it or just salt, like
No, I
Himalayan
don't put
salt?
anything on. I don't,
Mm. Wow. But you need
you
some
know,
salts.
that's
Well,
not true.
okay.
And I can't really explain how it worked, but one thing I find interesting is, um, say like if I'm say like if I have like if my nose is running, right? Like mucus is draining, and like sometimes I'll spit, the spit tastes salty, which I find really interesting because I don't eat salt.
It's a naturally
But the
occurring.
mucus tastes salty. So so I won't even speak too much about that, but because I don't know anything, like I've never really looked into it, but it's just like when people say like we need cholesterol, you know, and there's like high cholesterol diets now, you know. And it's true, yeah, we need cholesterol, but the body produces its own cholesterol. So if you're eating cholesterol on top of that, you're overdoing it. You know, protein. We need protein. See, they tell you half truths. Yes, we need protein, but we're not supposed to eat it. Our bodies create protein from amino acids. All right. So, and what else? Like, there's a lot of, I guess, nutrients that we need that our bodies create on its own from the things we eat. So, we don't need to eat. We're eating like proteins that, say, for example, a cow. Cows don't eat animals for protein. Cows eat grass. And then their bodies create from, apparently, grass contains amino acids. And so the cow's bodies will create protein structures from the amino acids they get from their diet. And there's thousands. There's No one even knows how many proteins are in the body. No one knows. And when people talk about protein, it's like they think there's just one protein. There's just like this one universal protein and it's good for everything. But there's a different protein structure required for nearly every function of your body. And so our bodies need different proteins at different times in different amounts. It's all specific. Only your body knows what it needs, when it needs it, and how much it needs. And the same works for a cow's body. So just like cow's milk is not made for humans, cow's protein is not made for humans. It's made for that cow. So there's a lot of unlearning we have to do, because we have to understand that the people who taught us how to eat make trillions of dollars off of
Mhm.
us, selling us drugs
Yep. The food
and
pyramid when I
cutting us
grew up.
open. Say again?
The food pyramid turned out to be a falsehood. We grew up with them like, "How
Oh,
can I
yeah.
eat this much food?" That was a big falsehood that
That's the drug industries, though.
yes,
And that's
exactly.
animal agriculture, and that's the
Yep.
dairy industry. They create these things. They're
And
teaching us how to eat.
Exactly, and you go way back, and it was Rockefeller, like, they took away all the alternative methods of healing. It became alternative stuff that we've used for how many hundreds of years to heal and eat better. They
They
just created this.
demonized all of that.
What's that?
They
Demonized.
demonized all of that.
Yes, they
Yeah.
demonized it all and started getting it out of all our books, and then became, you know, pharmaceuticals and medical modern medicine and all that, and until you start learning and going down these kind of rabbit holes, you think, "Oh, Western medicine's the best. Oh, that's all hokey. That's all like old wives' tale, how to heal yourself and all these medicinals." Like, the jungle looks like it's in a thunderstorm. The jungle has, I heard there's every kind of medicine that you can imagine to heal yourself in the jungle, in the plants in the jungle. Of course, there's some that can make you woo too, and they can kill you. It's just learning and knowing what's good for you and what not. So it's unlearning, like you said, a lot of these things. But I wanted to jump into real quick about you've had some censorship happen. We talked about it a little bit in the beginning about how you can't necessarily say what's worked for you or any alternative ways of healing. That's not, part of the mainstream narrative. And you had your book banned on Amazon and you've been deplatformed on TikTok. What have those experiences taught you about censorship? And why do you think the truth is so threatening to certain systems?
It's money.
Hmm.
It all comes down to the money.
And
You know,
power and control.
yeah, TikTok banned me because they banned me for telling the truth. When I was sharing my watermelon journey, I went on two watermelon journeys. 2023, I ate watermelon for 160 days, like just watermelon. And if you Google that, then the Google results will say eating just watermelon for more than 10 days is dangerous. It's like it's high, like you can die. Is kind of like the message they're conveying. And I proved that false. But that's what, the authorities, the courts, the laws, these social media platforms, that's what they go by, what the medical professionals say. Which is interesting because they are also the third leading cause of death. And people don't hear about this much at all. But in America, the first leading cause of death is heart disease or heart failure. Next is cancer. Number 3 is medical error,
Hmm.
mistakes, doctors. Like just marinate on that for a little while. But these are the people that we're supposed to listen to. And they're the third leading cause of death. Like I've seen estimates as high as almost 500,000 people that die every year because of medical error. And then look this up. 15,000 Medicare patients die every month caused by medical error. Look that up. That
Wow.
blew my mind.
Are they
15,000.
trying to get rid of the older generation? It seems like,
I don't know, but that's a
wow.
staggering. Like these are the people that people go to for help, to feel
Hmm.
better, to get better. Look at how many people they're killing.
Well, a lot of doctors now are trained in pharmacology. I've heard, and I've known some people that I follow and respect that they've left it because it was just about, okay, well, you're healing this patient instead of having surgeries on them. Like, I think it was he wrote, he talks a lot about lectins, how they're bad for the body, but he was healing all these people. He was a cardiac surgeon, I think, and he was changing their diets and they were becoming better. And he was getting in trouble because they were getting better instead of going to surgery. So he left the practice and opened up his own one. So that
That's
happens.
interesting. Do you know what that word comes from?
What?
Pharmacy?
No.
It comes from a word pharmakeia, and it means sorcery.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that
Whoa,
makes sense.
indeed. Yeah. It's sorcery. It's like an art of or a practice or a it's like a type of magic
Mhm.
where they make you feel like you're getting better with drugs, but the drugs are actually making you worse
Or
because
giving
they're
you another
poisons.
symptom that's maybe they're gonna yeah, not going to the root cause, or
Yeah,
maybe giving you another symptom, and then that's gonna be treated. And if you ever
yeah,
see those commercial advertisements, "And get Lorestra," or whatever it is, and could cause heart problems, diarrhea, like bleeding of the bowels, blindness,
and
and
they
death.
just be there smiling the whole time and while they're reading the list of side
Yes,
effects,
there was
and they
something.
have
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, there was something.
no,
Did you see the one on social media where they're, like, dancing, swinging around the trees, and it's going through about, like, all, like, may cause blindness, may like, and they're, like, one of those commercials where they're dancing
vital
around and
cause,
they're swinging. It was so funny.
bipolarism, a heart
Yes,
attack, strokes,
yes.
instant death,
They're like, "Oh,
and they're
la, la,
just
la." It's crazy. I'd like to hear real quick, I know
I
we
didn't
have to
answer none of your questions, but I noticed that too, but, we could keep going.
No, we could keep going, and we can come back another time and talk about more, but I know we have to
Yeah.
start wrapping this up. But I would love to hear about going into spiritually awakening and the bigger picture. How do you see the current global shift in consciousness? Are we collectively waking up or being lulled deeper into sleep?
I don't know. Um, the internet has given me access to, people all over the world, right? So online, it looks like we're waking up, right? But when I think about it, it's like this person is in the UK. This person is in Asia. This person, and there's still like a very small number of people. Although I have access to more people that are awakening, because because of the worldwide reach. When I'm offline and I'm just out in public, I don't see that.
At the grocery store,
All
it's
I
like,
see is zombies,
yeah.
you know. So I've heard about like a spiritual awakening, a shift that's supposed to happen, all these different things. And I will say, like, I'm really surprised by how many people have been inspired by my journey, like my lifestyle.
Mhm.
Like that really blew my mind
Yeah.
because I didn't foresee anyone caring, about me eating watermelon, about me eating just fruit. I didn't think anyone would find anything intriguing or amazing about that or anything. And people have. So, that's kind of like I see that as a good sign that people are even interested.
Mhm.
And, people have, expressed, a desire to do the same thing. I find that very interesting. You know,
Mhm.
that's a good sign of, people waking up and
Absolutely.
saying, hey, this is not right. We got to do
Mhm.
something different, you know. But like I said, when I'm offline, like I don't see that, amongst family members, amongst relatives. I don't see that. No, like when I'm out in public, like I was at a store, I was at a store a couple weeks ago buying pumpkin seeds, and the cashier was like, what's that? And I told him, and he's like, what do you do with it? I was like, I eat them. And he just like shook his head in disappointment and disgust. And that turned into a conversation. And when I walked away, I had shared with him that I just eat fruit and different things like that. And he said he was going to pray for me when I walked away. And
Yeah, because they
so,
don't understand it.
right. So, like, and I guess I don't want to say real world because I see online as the real world too. But, in my area, like,
In your sphere.
yeah, it's, I'm not really seeing awakening.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
There is an awakening happening. I know I've learned as far as like spiritually and frequency and vibration, and a lot of people are awake more because of what happened during COVID. They're more aware, but I understand how in your own environment, unless you've already had people like I've always had truth seekers, and luckily I've had a lot of people that are my wavelength. But slowly people are waking up. So there's a collective consciousness and awakening happening, even if it's the few people, like you tell someone your story or they've come to you and they've been inspired by your watermelon journey and your whole story overcoming addiction, and they can see something and relate something within yourself. Maybe they have the own same kind of upbringing. Maybe they've been incarcerated or whatever it is, whatever their story is, abuse in their home life, and they see themselves reflected in you, and it's you planting your seeds, even if it's two people, one person, 10 people, 100, 1,000, doesn't matter. You're planting seeds and they're popping awake like popcorn. So that is like the awakening and the shift. So someone might not have come across you last year, but now they've come across you and you've planted the seeds within them to have their own awakening, and then they're going to awaken something else. And it's like lighting the candle along the way. You are making a huge difference and a big impact on a lot of people's lives. And even those listening to the podcast that can see something reflected in you, in them, and it's going to go on their own awakening. That's the beautiful thing about having conversations like this, is it's lighting the flame for somebody else to ignite the flame in somebody else. And yeah, beautiful. And it's like claiming your own sovereignty over this and not listening to all the mainstream stuff and planting the seeds. And as we wrap up this conversation, I would love to hear what message you would give to someone standing on the edge of their own awakening, but afraid to go down the rabbit hole.
Oh, afraid to go down. That's tough because
They have to be willing to. You can't
I mean,
shine the light on them unless they're ready. If not, they're going to go back to sleep.
and it's just learning the things you'll learn when going down that rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of it's tough. It's realizing you've been lied to
Mm-hmm.
all your life
Mm-hmm.
and then learning what the truth is. Like it's hard. It's hard. I don't know. I would say although that is really hard, it's hard knowing, but it's harder not knowing
Mm-hmm.
because you'll suffer a lot more not knowing the truth than you will from discovering the truth. Because eventually, once you discover the truth, eventually it'll set you free.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I went through that so much just on my transition to eating just fruit. It's so many things that I loved eating that I had to let go, that I didn't want to let go of. But when I learned the truth about it, you know, it's like, well, do you want cancer? Is that the goal? Do you want diabetes? You know, do you want heart disease? Like, and it's like, no. Okay, well, you gotta let this go then. It's like you could do whatever you want, but just consider the consequences of both actions and then make a conscious decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had to do that so many times with things that I loved eating. And it's hard. Like it's hard every time, you know. But then when you finally get to like the other side, like I love it here so much now.
Feels so good.
I would never, like people are always trying to, you know, tell me I need to eat animals, I need to eat this, you need that, da 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 da. I would never. Like those things aren't even options for me
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Like this side is so beautiful
Mm-hmm.
on this side.
Yes, because you're in
And so
alignment
it's
with your
hard
own
in the
truth.
beginning,
Mm-hmm.
but it gets better. But if you choose to not go down the rabbit hole and to stay ignorant, how they say ignorance is bliss for a short while, but eventually you'll pay the price for being ignorant, and it's not a price you want to pay. Like that journey, like it's easy in the beginning and it just keeps getting harder and
Mm-hmm.
harder and harder. Whereas going down a rabbit hole is hard in the beginning, but it gets easier and easier and easier. So it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm I don't know how many different rabbit holes I'm in right now. I'm always going down rabbit
Yes.
holes. It's like I'm doing that every day, all day. All
Yep.
kind of, is that a rabbit hole over there? I'm
Exactly.
in it.
And you don't
I'm
stay in
always
it. You
exploring.
learn how to get yourself out. You go down the rabbit hole, but you're able to pull yourself out. I know I went through a period where I was in that rabbit hole for a long time, and finally I clawed myself out to the top and could breathe the air again. So there's always rabbit holes, and it's having discernment and also looking at from not being taken away with it, like looking from it as an observer of it. I don't know if I'm
Not
saying that
becoming
right.
too attached to it.
Yes, because there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of sadness, there's a lot of grief, there's a lot because you're shedding who you were before and what you believed. And I know I had a lot of anger with it. And then there was fear and then you might come out of it and you go back down it again. But now you can like look at a topic and you've got all this information that you had before, be able to look at something, go into the rabbit hole, observe it, know it, make changes in your own life and then, let the rest go so it doesn't become all consuming because it's like, whoa, it's
Yeah, yeah,
deep.
that's important. That's important, and
Uh-oh.
you have to learn how to do that because it can consume you. You can be consumed with anger and rage and fear, but then it's like, but you can't do like, then what?
Mhm. And how are you
You know?
going to be effectively able to help other people if you stay in that place? Well, first of all, yourself, and then how are you supposed to be a help to other people? You can't help anyone else when you're stuck in that mode. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, I would love to hear how people can connect with you if they want to dive deeper into your work.
YouTube is probably the best place. On YouTube, you can find me at Kev Ramon. I'm on Facebook. All the platforms I'm on. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And the handle is the same, with, variations, but I don't think those matter. YouTube is Kev Ramon, fruitarian. Facebook is Kev Ramon. Instagram is Coach underscore Kev underscore Ramon. Um, so yeah, the best platform I would say is YouTube. Yeah.
Okay, great. They haven't I found that they've been the worst. My tiny little account where I just put my podcasts up to really kind of have another space to live so they can actually see my guests and see images instead of just listening to audio if they wanted. My God, I'm like, why are they censoring my little account when Russell Brand is talking about this openly. So many other creators are talking about this openly. Maybe because they get censored as well, but they can go a little further than someone like me that might have like 5 people that listen to a certain episode than I can. I'm like, really? You've taken that down so quick. So I'm glad you can actually stay on YouTube. I mean, I've had like 3 strikes before. Oh, you're going to lose your account. I'm like, I don't care, but I do care. So YouTube.
Mhm.
Okay. So people go to YouTube. Audience, lovely audience, go to YouTube to find Coach Kev. I have one last question before we go, and that is what does it mean for you to live with an awakened heart?
I would I would say it means to let my light shine and to not be ashamed of my light,
Mm,
you know, not be afraid to be a light and to let it shine. And that means speaking the truth boldly and fearlessly, courageously, and not shrinking back. And there's a lot that comes with that. There's a lot of hate that comes with that. There's a lot of judgment, a lot of criticism, a lot of negative energy, that comes with that. And it just means you just keep plowing forward. You just keep being that light. You
mhm,
don't let anyone dim the light. And if anything, when people try to dim your light, you shine brighter.
mhm.
You speak louder. You speak more boldly. You know, that's what that that's what that would mean to me.
And as you were saying that, who am I not to shine my light? There's that quote, and it's always different of who actually said it, whether it was Eleanor Roosevelt or if it was Marianne Williamson about who are you to shine your light? Who am I not to shine this light? It's a gift from the divine. Do you know which quote I'm talking about?
I don't.
it's basically in the same thing, like, who, don't shine your light. Who am I to shine my light? Who are you not to? It was gifted by the divine, and I don't know, I'm gonna have to, like, find it and put it up.
I don't even know where to begin. I was gonna, like, see if I could find it
Let
on
me
my
see if I
phone
can
real
find it, because let's try to find it, because I can cut this portion out. Do, 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 do. Hold.
I don't think I ever heard it.
Okay, Marianne Williamson. La, la, la. Let me take this off airplane mode. Mary Ann Williamson.
That's the name that popped up on mine's.
Oh, here we go. I got a visitor. Okay, let's see if this comes up. I don't want to go to Google. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I found it.
You found, okay.
Okay, here we go. Okay, after that little brief pause, looking up on my iPhone, I found it. This is the quote that I was thinking about, and it resonates deep. It says it's by Marianne Williamson, and it's our deepest. Oh, go away, advertisements. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Ooh, I just got chills. And that's like the reason I created this podcast, for this exact same thing. And this quote really resonates with me. Have you heard that before?
I never heard that. I seen a clip of that in it's a movie. I don't remember what the name of the movie is, but Morgan Freeman starred in it, and he was
I'll
a
find it.
principal in a school, in like an urban community, and one of the students stood up and just started saying that.
Looking at who are we to not shine our light? Let's see if it does it. Okay. He was Principal Joe Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
What's the
Lean on
name of
Me.
them?
Lean
Lean
on
on
Me.
Me. That's it. That's it. Yep. And one of those students, I don't know if he quoted that whole thing, but that's the only time I had ever heard that quote before. And I never knew where it came from. I thought that was just from the movie. I didn't know he was quoting someone else.
Yeah, it has a whole thread here about that scene. I didn't know this could do this. It's so cool. We could just look. Wow, this is really motivating. Yeah, it has a whole scene here quoted. Yep, that's where it is. Lean on me.
Is it a video or is it
No, I
like
looked at
transcript?
IMDb, and it's a quote section.
Oh, okay.
It says something about happened with Miss Elliott. Everybody may not like you as a person. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's where it's from. And I'm going to go dive into that quote there. Well, Coach Kev, it's been wonderful having you on this podcast. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day. I don't know if you're getting the system. You're going to get the system after we got it, unless it's reaching down to
I think we
Columbus.
got it first.
We just got dumped on the storm
Really?
clouds. We just got
I think
dumped. There's storm clouds out there. Hopefully it doesn't show up on the recording, but we'll try to
yeah, it
edit
was
that out.
raining here earlier. Like when I
Okay.
went outside
So
earlier,
it must be
like
moving like
you could
this.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's coming to you now.
Yep. It's here. It dumped. Dumped. I would love some thunder and lightning, because when I lived in California and Oregon, we just didn't get the kind of thunderstorms here. And when I first moved back here, I was like, wow, it really dumps like buckets here, and those good old rolling thunderstorms. I do love those, but maybe it'll break some of this humidity so I can actually get outside. And it's buggy right now. I don't know if you live near woods. It's like, it's too early to be buggy. I want to walk. It's like,
Buggy, no. I don't live like I have a big backyard, but it's not real woody like that.
yeah.
But I could relate a little bit because later in the day, like if I go outside and sit and I'm just, I'm out there for a while, they make their presence known.
Mhm.
They just come
Oh, yeah.
start bothering you,
Yeah, it's when you can
you know,
hear them. It's the worst. I'm like, "Really? Something that small makes that much noise?"
insane.
Yeah.
And then it's like they know what they're doing. Like they fly by your ear on
Mhm.
purpose. Like
And you're
they
like, "Oh."
know what they're doing. And then we swing, like I swing at them, and then it's like they're on a tree laughing. Like,
Mhm.
did you see it swing in the mist? And then do it again. Do it like it's a game.
Mhm.
It
It's
makes
the
it hard to enjoy being outside. It's like, why
Yeah.
y'all like leave me alone?
Yeah, I wanna use my patio. It's the silent ones, like, "Just don't let me see you, just take my blood." But, yeah, I walked on the trail. It's only June, and it's like, yeah, I was attacked. And I like to go camping, so I'm hoping well, I don't go till August, so I'm hoping we won't be infested, but it is what it is. Happy summer.
Oh, I love camping. I'm
I
just
do.
waiting
I
for
can't wait. Lake
I'm
Michigan.
waiting.
Yes.
I gotta, housing with duties and everything. I got a son here still, that's involved in a lot of things. So I'm just like looking for that day,
Yes.
looking for that opening where the weather's right and he has nothing to do and I am out there.
Yeah. Well, I had to
I'm out.
book mine like 6 months in advance because I love Ludington. I grew up camping, and I love Ludington State Park. It's magical for me. Like, it's not the most optimal camping spots because it's a state park, so you're kind of like, there's so many people around, but the park is absolutely gorgeous. So, yeah, that was planned 6 months in advance, but, when you can go
Mm,
more off-road camping, then you can go, like, spur of the moment.
that's what I do.
Good for you.
That's Yeah.
Good.
I camp in places that close.
Okay.
Like how they close the parks and things at dusk or 10, 11 o'clock or whatever.
Rebel. Breaking the law, breaking the law.
Yeah, I camp in places like that, and there's nobody out there then.
Wonderful. Yeah, you can just go. Well, all right. Well, this was a wonderful conversation, almost an hour and a half here. So thank you for coming on the Awaken Heart podcast and sharing all your insights and heartfelt stories. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay cool.
Thank you. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Awaken Heart podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard today, share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, head on over to your favorite podcast app to subscribe, rate, and review. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, you can reach me at the awakenheartpodcast.com.